They designed globalization not to maximize income of the country as a whole, but to make sure that the profits of a few companies went way up. Who cared about those who were losers?
In 2001, Joseph E. Stiglitz won the Nobel Prize for Economics. Since then, he has gone on to become the former chief economist at the World Bank, the former chairman of President Bill Clinton's Council of Economic Advisers back in 1993, and he's authored more than 30 books, the most prolific of which is Globalization and Its Discontents.
I heard about that.
Quite a few developing countries have found success in pursuing an export-oriented growth based on low-cost manufacturing, Malaysia among them. Wouldn't a pullback from globalization threaten the ability of countries like ours to pull ourselves out of poverty?
Countries like Malaysia are going to have to think again about what is the right development strategy for the 21st century. Malaysia still has time to continue niches within manufacturing. You become an important player in the area of solar panels and certain latex products. But I think it's time to begin to think about the next stage of strategy.
Well, you've been watching Malaysia quite closely for the past few decades, 30 years that you've been
That's
watching
right.
Malaysia quite closely. What do you think are some of the missed opportunities?
There are probably more investments in education, research that you could have done. Singapore is a much smaller place, and that gave them an ability to focus more narrowly. They've been enormously successful, but it's a very, very small niche economy. Some of their gain has been in the financial services. Some of that is money laundering, something I don't approve of. So, I think it's better not to go in that direction and to really have an economy based on real innovation. The Singaporean economy has really done that, but I think they've relied too much on that little financial niche, which has, in a way, hurt their reputation.
This is a touchy subject for Malaysians, but what do you think is the role, or should be the role, of sovereign wealth funds?
I think sovereign wealth funds are especially important for natural resource economies. You have good luck of having oil. It is part of your, you might say, public trust that the value of that should be shared between the current generation and the future generations. And that's what a sovereign wealth fund does. It takes the value of the oil and says, no, don't consume it today. That would be a violation of your public trust. Put the revenue you get from the oil into a sovereign wealth fund, and the income and the capital can be invested for the future, but not consumed.
As you know, we have had the biggest heist in history happen here in our backyard, and we've had the global financial system that didn't just enable this to happen, but in many ways encouraged it to happen. What do you think the 1MDB scandal has revealed about how the global financial system works?
It shows the greed that's pervasive. Goldman Sachs' role in this is unconscionable. Any sense of due diligence, even scratching the surface, would have shown what was going on. But the unbridled greed says, we don't want to see what's going on. We just want that money into our bank account. I think they should be made liable. They should repay. All the profits they made should go back to Malaysia and more, because they were responsible. They were part of a conspiracy that hurt the Malaysian people so much.
I'm just wondering whether there will be any implications or changes to the way the global financial system works from this. I mean, are there lessons to be learned that can change systemically the way the global financial system works?
Our laws about liability, that if you engage in money laundering, like they did, you have a responsibility. If you don't live up to that responsibility, you have to pay. So to me, I would like to see changes in those liability laws. Obviously, this builds on to what it was revealed by the Panama Papers and the Paradise Papers, the secrecy of the financial institutions, the lack of transparency, and that we need more oversight. They can't, on their own, be trusted. The damage that they can do is just so enormous that there has to be more international oversight.